Hey everyone, how you doing today? We're the real estate ladies of North Atlanta, Mary Ellen Vanakins, Sue Jennings,
Mhm.
and today we're going to be talking about guiding buyers through the new construction buying process, which is kind
Mhm.
of a fun topic. We all love new construction.
Right.
So Sue, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Mary Ellen?
I'm doing fabulous. We're talking about new construction, which always makes me happy. It's always nice to have a nice new home with sometimes you can pick out things, sometimes you can't. So, but it's always something fun. So, what are we going to discuss today?
Yeah. We're going to talk about the pros and cons, basically, of new home construction. The pros are that you can customize your home to a certain degree, that you'll be getting modern amenities such as those energy efficient appliances
Oh,
and
yeah,
plumbing and everything else, that you generally have a warranty with new construction, that your maintenance hopefully is going to be much less, safety and code compliance, appreciation potential of new home construction, and modern living in new home construction and those floor plans that we all love. Then the
fantastic.
cons of new construction, we're going to talk about the length of time it takes to build,
Yep.
planning and permits, construction, just the whole build process in general, final inspections, potential delays, costs,
Mhm.
locations, and some of the unknowns.
The unknowns, question
Right.
mark, question mark. All right, so let's
Right.
dig right into customizing. So let's talk a little bit about different kinds of new construction. We
Mhm.
have, you know, the total custom builders, right? And then you have some that you can customize and do certain
Right.
things too. And then you have spec homes that are already up and that's the way it is.
Mhm.
And then you have these subdivisions, at least they've done a lot since 2020, where everything's been picked out already and you can't change
Mhm.
it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you
Right.
have that you can do certain changes. So I
Right.
think that it's important to kind of discuss that because people I think with new construction, they don't know. They're like, can I pick everything out in the house?
Right. Well, that's the difference between custom, semi-custom, and tract homes. And I think some people that are in the semi-custom category think they're in the custom category, but they're really not. So with a custom home, you're sitting down with an architect and you're starting from scratch. Line one, you're using your inspiration ideas, whether those are
Mhm.
photos of different homes that you've seen on the internet or somewhere around the world,
Yeah.
and that's your vision of what you want your lifestyle and your home to look like. And you plan every single space, the size of the space, how you're going to walk through that space, and the details of that space. And then you can put your own personality into that in terms of how you want to live in the space. So how open do you want it to be? Do you want it to flow to
Mhm.
outdoor space where you can entertain? And how do you want, your kitchen to be near this space, and how do you want your guests to flow around the home? And do you want a pool in the back, and do you want a gym in the back? You know do you want one floor? Do you want two floors? Are you finishing a basement, or do you want the home to be on a slab? Those are all custom type decisions that you
Custom
work
homes.
with
Yeah.
an architect to design from the very first pencil line that's put on the paper. You start with a process of blocking those areas, and then you refine those spaces to get the actual floor plan. And then
Right.
you work with your builder. And when you're budgeting for something like this, it can be very daunting because a budget plan on something like this can have 75 line items where you're looking at every aspect of the home inside
Right.
and out, and all of those details that go into that. So when you're building a custom home, maybe you're purchasing the lot and you're bringing in your own builder and you're building this one-off home. It can be expensive because you're not getting economies of scale from having 90 homes in the
Right.
subdivision. You're just building one, but you've got
Mhm.
to really have your ducks in order from a financial standpoint before you start this process, because construction to perm loans can be expensive. And whenever you're working with something like that, the bank who provides the construction to perm loan has to come in and do inspections, and that can slow the process as well. So if
And
you work with
permits
a
and
builder that's
stuff and
familiar
all that
with
kind
your
of stuff.
area.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And then semi-custom is
Semi-custom. There's a lot of semi-custom builders in our area, such as Toll Brothers. They're a good example. Even Taylor Morrison, where they have certain floor plans that you can pick from. You can pick from maybe 3 different elevations for those homes, and you can, make some changes to those floor plans, very, very minimal changes. Sometimes they'll just give you an option for this second floor versus this second floor, or whether, you want, this floor plan or that floor plan on the second floor. You do get to choose some selections, usually in their design center, where it's different floor color, different carpet color. Maybe, if you want to upgrade your appliances, you could do that. But they're much more limited changes that you can make. And you're usually in a subdivision that's already been permitted through the county and the city and so forth to have that specific plot of homes or plan of homes built on those lots.
Yes, definitely. And then just a regular, hey, this is the way the house is. This is what's been this is what's been put in. These are the cabinets, these are the colors, and there's no changes to that.
Right. Starlight to Homes is an example of a builder that builds that way. D.R. Horton also has an arm in their corporate hierarchy of a home that's pre-planned, and for efficiency and for cost purposes, to keep the costs as low as possible, they build a standardized selection of interior options. If you want to change anything, you have to do it after closing.
Right. They're like, this is carpet. You can't put hardwood. So you can't you have to do it after closing. So yeah. So those are I think people don't understand that those are the different avenues you can go in new construction. And I will give a tidbit that I've always seen. When you're driving through a new construction and there's a sign there that says houses from the 400,000s, that really means houses from the 600,000s or the 500,000s. So they just want to get you in. So they're going to do their little marketing, because everything costs, right? And then the lot's going to be extra, and then this is going to be extra. So before you know it, it's a lot more. And another little tidbit is everyone walks into that model home. So the first thing I say when I go into that model home, how much money in upgrades is in this model home? Because what they'll do is they'll put $100,000 worth of upgrades in a house, and you're like, wow, I want that house. And then to read, it's not going to be 400,000, it's going to be close to 6, So you have to, those are just some of the things that the consumer probably doesn't know, but it kind of is a little annoying to me because, I always tell people when you go into a model home, the first thing we're going to ask is how much upgrades, like what's upgraded, and show us the upgrades in the model.
Yeah. And what's nice is sometimes if those builders that have put all those upgrades, put a little sign around on those things that this fireplace is not the standard fireplace. This is an upgraded fireplace, things like that. But it's always good to ask the on-site agent in general over the base price of the home. You will also be paying for perhaps a lot premium, but in terms of upgrades at the design center, how much do people generally spend? And the on-site agents will generally know if people are spending $20,000 or if they're spending $50,000 in design center upgrades. And that's just a good thing to know, because if your buyer is on a tight budget, maybe that's not the best, home subdivision for them to be moving into. That can be very daunting for a lot of people to not know at the time that they sign a contract in one of those communities exactly what the end cost of the home is really going to be.
Right. And another thing too, that is just a tidbit too, is that a lot of times when you go to the design center and pick things out, you have to pay for that right away. So
Right.
earnest, and we'll go into the cons of new construction, like earnest money is a lot
Right.
higher and things like that. So that is definitely a con. So let's get back into the pros of those modern amenities and the modern, like you buy a new house and you've got all like what's going on, what's trending, anything from efficiency in the house to, what are the colors and what are the cabinets and what are the floor plans and what's popular, and people want, instead of a living room now, they want an office, an extra office. So you're seeing all the new trending stuff, and that's a plus. You don't have to do any
Right. Right.
renovations to your house when you buy a new construction.
The energy efficiency of the new homes is amazing, between the types of windows that they install,
Yes.
the insulation that is put in the walls and the attics. Even there are some builders that put something called pest ban in the walls, where when you have to have your exterminator come, they can just access the house from the outside from a portal and
Right.
take care of it there. Your appliances, your HVAC, everything is brand new and it's totally move-in ready. So those are real advantages in terms of, the house itself, but there's also amenities in the neighborhood at all as well that are
Right.
new, like a new pool, new tennis courts, new pickleball courts, a new playground. Dog parks are really popular as well.
Yes.
And so the one thing that's nice about amenities and new communities is that everybody is new to the community. Everybody wants to make friends. And sometimes it's very, very easy to meet the neighbors because nobody knows anybody.
Right.
And they're all moving in with the same experience with the builder and being new to the area. So sometimes that's a real positive.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. And then going into like warranties. So when you're, every builder has different warranties, and we're not going to get into warranties so much, except, you're going to do a walkthrough, a final walkthrough, and then you're going to have a walkthrough 12 months after you're in the house, and you're going to work with the builder on that. So you're going to have warranties of all, the plumbing, or like say you have an emergency with your house with the plumbing, they tell you who to call, that's under warranty.
Right.
So a lot of these
Right.
builders have the whole system, and when you get the house, you fill out the, application, and then exactly who you need to contact for if there's any issues.
Right. And different aspects of a home will have different lengths of warranties, such
Right.
as on the structure or the roof, or, the appliances. Usually appliances are through the actual manufacturer of that appliance, not through the builder, and you get the manufacturer's warranty.
Right.
But what's nice about new construction is that they're all up to date in terms of code. There's safety has been taken into consideration in the design and structure, building of the home. And like we said, energy efficiency. There's a lot of appreciation potential in newer homes, especially if you buy early in the community, because that's when the prices are lowest, because sometimes they have pre-sale opportunities for you to buy before the first house is even up and ready to go. And in some of these communities, they won't even have a model home ready yet, but they will send you to another community, maybe across town, where they do have a model where you can see an example of their quality of construction and their features. It might not be your exact floor plan that you want to see, but at least you can see how they build a home and their finishes, and whether you'd be interested in living in that type of a modern home with that kind of a lifestyle on the floor plan, the flow of the floor plan, the smart home features, and any of the community amenities.
Yeah. And I think another thing that you have to know too, that when you go into new construction, that a lot of builders have, like every 5 houses, they raise the price of the house.
Mhm.
So you're going to have instant equity there too. So that's just a little tidbit. Everyone has their own thing. But if you get into a neighborhood early, then, you get into a neighborhood early, then you can deal with that.
Right. So what are some of the cons of new home construction, Mary Ellen?
Oh, time
Yes.
to build.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're depending on weather. There's so many things that go into factors. Some homes you can get new construction built between 6 and 8 months. Some are over, depending on the size of the house, some are over a year. Some go, they're all over the place. So sometimes
if you're building a custom home, I always say to my buyers,
18,
plan
24
on
months.
close to 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be 18 to 24 months from the time, you start the process until you actually move into the home. It could be 2 years. So you need to have an interim plan for, financially where you're going to live, how you're going to pay for all of this, and
Right.
what your existing situation is going to be. What's nice in some communities is that builders will build maybe 2 or 3 spec homes, depending upon what their loan is, with their construction loan is with their bank or their financial institution. That will limit the number of houses that a builder can have as a spec at any given time. But the advantage there is that, yes, they are building a spec. That home, because it's already been permitted, it's already been started, maybe it's already in the framing process, you're not going to have to wait as long for that home. And yet maybe you can still get in and make some selections, not all, but make some selections so that you can customize it a little bit before you go to close on it. So the planning and permits can take a long time, especially in towns like Alpharetta and Milton and so forth. You do have to kind of build that in, because that can go on for a while. It can go on for 6 months or more until you get everything approved through the city to be able to build. It could be just a few weeks. It could be a while. And then the construction process itself, once they break ground, can be anywhere from 6 to 12 months, depending upon the size of the home, how many homes are being built in that community, whether it's a one-off. And you've got to really, be comfortable with that time frame. Some buyers that don't have that time frame but want new construction, I always point them towards the spec homes that are ready to go, that are finished, even though they might not have every possible selection in there that you would ultimately want, but you could move in 30 days or less.
Yeah, if you're in a time constraint relo, you have to move. This is what you're doing. Those are the best direction to go into. So I really feel like the con is sometimes there's so many uncertainties. We're going to close on this day. No, it's going to be a month. No, it's going to be here. So you have to be flexible and patient, which some people are not. Right. So we can find that as definitely a con of what's going on there.
Right. And just keep in mind that even though it's new construction and we know that you're going to have a warranty from the builder on it, we do always recommend that you have an independent home inspection done on the property before you close on it, because even though it's new construction, we can come up with a list of things that still need to be fixed or repaired prior to closing. So don't assume that because it's new construction that it shouldn't be inspected. That's
right. And also a pre-drywall. If you're building a house or you're in a subdivision where they're building a house, you can do a pre-drywall inspection. So you end up doing 2 home inspections on the property. And that has been, just peace of mind that everything before they put the drywall up is in good condition. So I strongly suggest doing those 2 inspections.
Right. And another thing that you want to do pre-drywall is go through and take pictures of your walls before they put the drywall up, so that you know what's behind those walls, and you can just keep those in a folder on your computer. And that way, if you ever have to make a repair or you want to make some sort of a renovation to the property, you know what pipes are in that wall in that particular section of that room, where the electrical's located, things like that. It's very, very helpful to have that behind the walls insight.
Behind the wall insights. That's a good tidbit that a lot of people don't do. And I know that people get really excited about new construction. They'll go visit their house like every week and they'll walk through it and they'll take pictures and they'll really just do like a diary of what's going on in the property, which is really nice. So that's an exciting feature, I think, too, of building a house from, whether it's a track home or a custom home, that you're there looking at it and you're seeing the progress and you see how
Right.
fast they put these homes up sometimes.
Yeah, the progress is one thing, but keep in mind there can always be delays. There can be delays because of weather. There can be delays because of supply chains, labor shortages, and permitting, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. And especially getting materials,
Right.
nowadays it's so hard to get materials on time. So if the cabinets are delayed because they have a process they have to put in the cabinets before they do this, so you have
Right.
to make sure if they don't hit that date of when the cabinets are supposed to be in and that's delayed, then it delays everything else. So they usually
Right.
have a whole thing. And I think communication is really important when having us as an agent communicating with the new construction agent, because they're the ones that are going to tell you what's going on and if there's any hiccups and problems, and just really kind of updating on what's going on.
Right, right. So, just it's important to keep in mind that costs can go up during a construction process, that you've got the base price of the home that says from the 400s or whatever it is, but that does not include any lot premiums. It does not include any design upgrades or changes or specifications and or customization. There can be some unexpected expenses that come up during construction that, due to unforeseen changes in material shortages or material costs, can rise during construction. You're really not going to know your final cost of the home in some instances until the house is actually done and the CO, which
Right.
is issued, is complete. There's also post-moving expenses that you need to consider too, such as new landscaping. A lot of these homes do come with minimal landscaping, but some of them don't come with much at all. You've got to establish a yard, a lawn. That can be a cost. And any other post-move-in expenses such as blinds.
Yeah,
People don't realize that they need to sleep in their bedroom. They need a blind.
Well, blinds. So another thing is usually washer, dryer, and refrigerators are not included, and blinds in most homes, new construction. And also, like the towel, like you have towel hangers and you have toilet bowl, toilet paper roll holders. That stuff's not included, and that can add up, believe it or not. And fans. I know people like here in the South, every room has a fan because it's just that's the life, because you want everything moving around. So, fans, and make sure they're wired for fans, if you're a fan person and you have to have fans in all the bedrooms, because they're just going to put the basic lighting fixture up there. And, unless you request it and pay for it. So remember, those are some added expenses. And if you want to put like a fence in your backyard, first of all, you got to get it approved, and they will not do fences till after you close. So that's another expense. If you have those animals that need to be fenced in, you want to get your fence, scheduled for right after the closing for that to happen. So
right, exactly. And the other thing to take into consideration is location. Some of these larger home communities, people say, well, why do I want to live there? It's not close to anything I know. Well, that's because the area is being built out. It's all new. And, things take time to evolve. And eventually those areas become very desirable with lots of shops and restaurants and so forth. But you've just got to be able to see the potential of what a neighborhood could be. Just like if you decide to build in an older neighborhood, it might not have amenities. It might be a lot of older homes that eventually are going to be torn down, and the neighborhood is going to be something very different in 5 years than what it is today. So you've got to have a lot of foresight to be able to see what something can potentially be. And a lot of times you don't know what your neighbor's house is going to look like. Even if you're in a planned community, those homes haven't been bought yet. Those lots haven't been bought yet. Those elevations haven't been selected yet. Yes, they're usually HOAs that will control the color palette and so forth. The builder even controls the color palette. So you're not going to get an orange and purple house next door to you, but you just don't know what the finished neighborhood's eventually going to look like, which is a little bit exciting too.
It is. And then another really con that, it can be really annoying is you're going to have, because they're still building in the neighborhood. So you're going to have trucks going by. You're going to have,
Mhm.
and you might get like a nail in your tire,
Absolutely, you will
How
get
many
a plan
times have
on
we
it.
got
You
nails
will.
in our tire after driving new construction? Many
Right.
times we've had to
Many
fix our
times.
car. So that actually is a con too, that you're going to hear them Monday through Friday working, doing things to get things done in the neighborhood, and until they finish out the whole neighborhood. So
Right.
that's
Right.
another. And just another
Yeah.
con I was thinking of too is, sometimes if you're in this big, big, big neighborhood, it's like it's going to take you 10 minutes to get out of the neighborhood to get
Mhm.
to the shops. So remember, also consider that when you're looking at houses, is how quick do I want to be out of the neighborhood? You don't want to be the
Right.
first house in the neighborhood. You definitely don't want. I don't like selling the first house in the neighborhood unless you really, really
But
want
it's
it.
less expensive, Mary Ellen.
Yeah,
That's
but
an
that doesn't matter.
opportunity
But
for
then you get everybody
potential
coming through, right?
equity.
And also
Right.
people like cul-de-sacs too. So, for that purpose too, as well, or being close to the
Right.
pool or being close to the amenities. So just really kind of looking where you want to be in that neighborhood too, as well.
But my overall advice to a lot of my buyers that like new construction but can't visualize what it's going to look like is I often recommend that they buy a house that's a year, 2 or 3 years old,
Right.
because that way they can reach touch the four walls of the house and know exactly what it's going to look like and feel the size of the space and know whether their furniture is going to fit and just see how the house sits on the lot. A lot of people just are not good at visualizing things. And if you're not good at visualizing things, maybe you need to buy a newer house, but not brand new construction.
Right. That's a great advice there,
Mm-hmm.
Sue. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, because sometimes you have to visualize, and then you don't want to be disappointed, right? Like when all of a
Right.
sudden this is where the property is going to be, this is where the house is going to be, and it just wasn't in your vision. Like, oh, my backyard's not as big as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
You know
And
what I mean?
likewise, we
That's another
mentioned this
one.
in a previous podcast that if you do buy in a community, make sure you're planning on keeping the home for a certain number of years, because if they're still building in the community and you go to sell that house, sometimes it's a little difficult to sell while the community is still being constructed, when homes are still being built, because a lot of buyers will come in and they will take, a new construction home and customize it to their needs, as opposed to taking the home that's been there and has been lived in, and might be a few years old. So sometimes those homes can take a little bit longer to sell, but there's always that buyer that comes along that can't visualize and wants to be able to see everything and touch everything and will love that home ultimately.
Yes, great. So anything else we want to add about new construction with buyers and just kind of going through the process?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you have to have a lot of confidence, I think, in new construction. You've got to have patience, but ultimately you'll get a lot of satisfaction out of it also.
And having a brand new home, there's nothing like the smell. Like like when you get a new car and you smell inside. Same thing, new home, just smell. It's just perfect. You don't have
Mhm.
any smells in the house, and it's all for you to live in it. And so it's great. All right. Well, that was our little first segment, and now we're going to go into our neighborhood's spotlight. And today, Sue, we're going to talk about a couple of new construction communities in the area.
Right. So new construction can be a little bit pricey, but I often get buyers that say, where do you think there's great value? I want to live in Alpharetta or Milton, and I want the schools and so forth, and the beauty of that equestrian property that's around the home, but I really don't have the pocketbook to be able to afford, a $3 million home. So my recommendation today is, for the first community I'm going to talk about, is in Milton. You can get in there for under $1 million. And these homes are generally 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and they are in the 900s. They're being built by a builder that's been building for 65 years, Southwick
Wow.
Homes. And these homes range in size from about 2840 to 2955 square feet. And it's it's in a fantastic location. It's where Birmingham Road and Birmingham Highway meet. There's a cute little quaint shopping center across the street as well
Walkable.
that has,
Mhm.
yeah, it's walkable, and there's a beautiful Publix there for groceries. There's a bank there, but this community as well, the Crossroads at Birmingham, does
Yeah.
have some walking trails and ponds, and it backs to beautiful green space. There are 25 homes that are going to be built there in the 900s. 5 have already sold. There's currently 4 spec homes available. And then there are 16 for future building lots. And there will also be 10 estate homes in this community that will be like 1.5, 1.7 on up. So just a lovely area to live in, and a great value in the Milton area.
Right. And you're so close to the, all the horses. It's just like, it's such a great area there because it really is the rolling hills and stuff. And you would never think that you're 10 minutes from downtown Alpharetta. You know what I mean? So
Right,
that
exactly.
is
Great
a
location.
great new construction area. Are we going to talk about any other ones or what?
Yes, I have a second one. This one's a little bit more expensive. It's just over $1 million, like in the $1.2 million range, but great location right in downtown Alpharetta. Yeah, you can have a brand new construction home, 4 bedrooms again, 3 baths, the 2-car garage and everything, and be walkable to downtown Alpharetta. It's being built by Taylor Morrison, and it's called Manning on the Square.
Nice.
And this community is close to being sold out. So if you're interested in a location like this, you need to give us a call quickly so that we can get you into a great home. Right. There are 3 or 4 homes left at this point, but they are nice floor plans. They have high ceilings, open floor plans, beautiful kitchens, nice big windows, sunny floor plans with porches and decks and so forth, so that you have some space outside for entertaining your guests, and just fantastic location. Manning on the Square by Taylor Morrison.
And the schools are amazing. So
amazing, yes. It's Manning Oaks Elementary School, Hopewell Middle School, and Alpharetta High School.
Yeah. And then like one more thing I have to add is that new construction is always changing, and you're not going to always find the stuff on Zillow or realtor.com.
Right.
You need to talk to someone who knows the area, because we also know what's being built around the area too. We're always, we kind of get the inside VIP, we know what's going on because of our relationships with people on what's being built here and the information.
Right.
And sometimes, a lot of times builders will not put anything on Zillow or realtor.com.
Or even in the MLS.
Right. So I think
it's
important that you do seek out, if you're looking for new construction anywhere. I mean, yes, you can find new construction in the outskirts of, away from Alpharetta. You can find things in the 5, 6, and 7, but not in Alpharetta. So I know that things have gotten really expensive here for new construction because it costs more to build a house. So that's why the prices have gone up so much in new construction, because of just, of all the materials and stuff. So,
and both of these communities that I mentioned, they are single homes. They're on smaller lots, but they are single homes. Now, we do have a wide range of attached properties, of townhomes and so forth, being built in the area that might be in a little bit lower price point. So if you're interested in something like that, we can help you with that too.
Sure. Fantastic. Are we done with our new construction homes, right? So now we are going to go into our segment of what we love about North Atlanta. We should have like a theme song or something for it. But anyway, so today, Sue, we're going to talk about 2 of our favorite Mexican restaurants in North Atlanta. So why don't you start first with yours?
I'm going to talk about a restaurant that has multiple locations. So if you're not in the downtown Alpharetta area, you can find this restaurant in other locations like Duluth and Roswell and even I think Sandy Springs and all. It's called Pure. Pure is a Mexican restaurant, and it was actually, when I moved here 14 years ago, it was the first restaurant that I ever ate in the Alpharetta area. Just a little tidbit of information, but they have fantastic entrees. They always have daily specials, and they're all very reasonably priced. They have a bar and wonderful cocktails to choose
What
from.
about margaritas? What about margaritas? Are they good there?
They've got all kinds, yeah.
Yeah.
So they do have a very open atmosphere at the downtown Alpharetta Pure. It's got like a garage door exterior that they can just open the doors up. And on nice days, you're basically sitting indoor, outdoor. I always wonder, am I inside? Am I outside? But the wall's not here because the doors are up.
Yeah.
And it's got a real kitschy, cute decor where you're sitting on chairs like you had in school years ago. I don't know whether schools even have those chairs anymore. But the nice thing about the Pure in Alpharetta is that next to Pure, NTP, next to Pure, is a home that they renovated, and it's beautifully done, and you can have catered events there. So we've been there for weddings, we've been there for rehearsal dinners, there are corporate events there. There's a big wraparound porch where they put tables outside, they can serve food outside or inside. There's an upstairs area, and I've known people that have actually gotten married in the upstairs area and then had their reception downstairs. But it's a very cozy and very, very pretty environment.
And in downtown Alpharetta, you can walk to all the shops. You can walk to everywhere there too. So it's really a great Mexican place. I love it because I love delicious. The indoor, outdoor. Yeah. It's like really kind of hip, like with the doors open and stuff. I really like that. So I am going to talk about a restaurant called El Don in Alpharetta. So it's on Highway 9. It's a little bit north of downtown Alpharetta and a little south of McFarland Parkway. So the best thing about this place is you never would expect it. It's indoor, outdoor. They have music. They have trivia. I mean, it's just a fun place. And the margaritas are really, really good. And their Mexican food is great. And what we like about it is just the atmosphere in there. It's a great location. You're going to get some great fajitas, and I like some of the chimichangas and all that stuff. You get it. And it's local people just go there, and it's fun. It's a fun place. Like you would never expect them to have trivia at a Mexican restaurant. They have trivia. They have like a band that comes in and people are dancing, and it's really great for families. So we see a lot of families in there. And then we also see like a lot of events where kids are coming from their soccer game, or they're coming from their softball or baseball, whatever. They're all coming together, and it's a great place to gather because they have it's a big place. So they have open space to put 20 kids, or, that's always fun. So it's always people running around. You just feel like you're in Mexico. So the food is good. You can get a molcajete, which is really great. Margaritas are great. Everything about it. It's fun. It's a fun atmosphere. So
and it's fantastic at Cinco de Mayo.
Yes,
I went there one day on Cinco de Mayo, and they had the parking lot decorated. They had outside, and it was so festive and fun.
Yeah, it's really a fun place, and you can sit outside on the patio, or you can sit inside, and it's really, really a great place. So, like I said, we have a weekly newsletter with Alpharetta and Milton events. If you'd like to join in that, it comes in every week. And, we're always here. We have a great website, NorthAtlantaLuxury.com. It has a lot about all the neighborhoods and things that we talk about. And we always like to give a shout out to what we love about North Atlanta. So every time we have a podcast, we're going to give you two things that we like, and we're just going to continue that. So thank you for coming today, Sue. Thank you for all your great information on new construction, and everybody have a great day.